All right. How's it going tonight, everyone? Welcome. Happy Thursday. Hope your week's been off to a good start or whatever. Or week, jeez. Wrong track got loaded, apparently. Hope your week's going well. Yeah. All right. Anyways, we got a bunch of stuff to get into tonight. We're going to start by landing some of these there pull requests there. Look at all of them beautiful, nice green thumbs ups to get merged. Yeah, so we're just gonna start at the bottom, work our way up. 4226. Oh, assuming these don't have blockage. They might, I don't know. This is a lot of the present stuff to actually make the presence picker work. This blocks 42227. Okay, but it's not blocked by anything else. Okay, cool. P, Pidgin, Queen, HG, up, default, HG, pull, minus U, CD build, RBT, land, minus R, 4227? No, 4226. Actually almost to the point of having working status. Woo, woo. Some probably should have done a long time ago. It's alright, it's fine. How's it going, G-Bound? Welcome. How are you? And Sugar for streaming. Hello, how are you? Oh, fucking K-Wallet. I swear, man. ABI in C++ is just not a thing. Just got in, nice. Yeah, we started a little late here. Dinner ran a little late. I was being slow, and then South Park. I was watching South Park, and yeah. All right, there we go. It's AC stat. So this pull request we just landed makes it easier to map stuff into the drop down. Don't feel bad. It's been assembly all week and teaching all week. Yikes. Yep. That's a lot of work. So this is update purple to track by index. Okay. This blocks 4227, which I thought this got reviewed. Okay, well this didn't get reviewed yet. That's fine. Not a big deal. That's right there. That's fine. Okay. Let's go to 4229. Oh, this is Burb. Yep. Burb, Queen, HG, CD, Bill, HG, pull, minus U. Hasn't been too bad. Just a lot of work. Yeah. That's how it goes. 4229. So we're getting close to another Burb release. There's one more thing I want to get in here. Maybe we'll work on that tonight a little bit. It's a tricky beast. The thing that needs to be done. But we're moving more and more of the stuff to the string stuff to here. So this just puts us to the 0.6 API version. It's fine, no biggie. This blocks 4230, which moves purple stir matches to Burb stir matches. $230. We want to go to Burb. Oh, I didn't finish the start list model change yet. Oh no, we just made more orphans. What are we gonna do? Adopt them. So the other big thing for Burb is I want to build a string Pango formatter. The idea is it takes a Pango attribute, it takes a string, and a Pango attribute list and lets you format it, or it tells you when it gives you a block of text, or if it has formats to do, it tells you to put the format in, and then it'll give you a block of text so you can apply the format to it. Then it'll tell you when it ends, blah, 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 blah. And I want to get that done because one of the things we never did in Pidgin 2, for example, is we never supported formatting on IRC. And that's something I want to do. I'm trying to fix a lot of these gaps and stuff that we didn't have before because just like we didn't have a way to do it. And yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, so I'm trying to get a lot of that stuff here. Stir matches, AC stir matches. Okay. Back over to 4. We're back in Pidgin land. Random cleanups to connection. This block's 4225. That's fine. Is this 4222? Also, I'm hopefully going to get the State of the Bird done tonight or tomorrow. I want to publish it tomorrow. I got stuck because the chart plugin I use in Discourse got broke, but they fixed it today. So last night I started building a thing to pull all the data out of our repositories for commits, and then started to build a matplotlib graph out of it. But like I can skip that part now, which is cool. And ideally, I might just make a formatter for it or something. But yeah, so like I've been not necessarily purposely dragging my feet, but it's been taking me a while to get to the State of the Bird, and then I get to the point, and then it's like, fuck, all the graphs are broke. Just like, dude. But that's fixed now, so that's good. Also, as some of you may have noticed, I'm trying to put more brainstorming, and other random thoughts and stuff into Discourse, so that more people can discuss it. In the past, I've put the stuff into chat and stuff like that, but I'm going to be frank. This doesn't really matter to me, but I'm going to be frank about it. Our Discord has gotten very... Well, I mean, it was never super active to begin with, but, like, it looks like it's just me spamming there all the time. And it's like, all right, well, let's figure out how to deal with that and stuff, and... Yeah, so instead of me just posting random stuff onto Discord, I'm going to put it in Discourse instead. That was weird. It gave me a 500, but then it worked. Okay. Whatever. But yeah, so, you don't see a lot of activity anywhere? Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, the project with it have been on life support for so long. And, like, with all the activity going into Purple 3 and Pidgin 3, that hasn't been useful by people. We've just been kind of forgotten about by people. You know, better or worse, right? I'm not complaining. I'm not whatever. But, like, that's a problem. Right? And it's a problem from the point of view of we don't really have an active community. This is why people are like, how many people work on Pidgin? And it's like a lot less than you think, right? Don't mean anything by it or anything, but it's just, it's very low, right? So I've been trying to get, when ideas and stuff pop up, I've been trying to come up with, bring discussions about it, stuff like that, right? So like earlier today, I saw somebody post about, the only type of AI they want in, or so the only AI feature I want in a messaging app is to tell me that I'm messaging the wrong group, right? So I had some ideas for that. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe the custom avatar, that's something we want to allow regardless. Not that it would necessarily help with that, right? Some sort of color coding could work, but only marginally better than the custom avatar. A custom background or theme could be interesting, but still requires it requires a lot of work, and it's still effectively the same thing as a custom avatar and stuff. Spaces, grouping of conversations could be helpful, but that just, limits the amount of potential problem. Disabling the send button if a word in a word list is in the message, right? So, like, I don't know, like put your friends' names or something, or their handles, in a word list for work, and say that this conversation can't contain those words, right? And then it just disables the send button or something for you, right? We could also control whether or not the send button's enabled or sending a message is enabled based on a schedule, right? So like when you're at work, you shouldn't message your friends, right? Likewise, when you're not on work hours, you can't message work. That's probably the one you're more concerned about, honestly. But yeah. But otherwise, some sort of a molly guard. Like a molly guard is that thing you always see in the movies when, like, before they launch the nuclear missiles, they have to lift up the little flap, right? And then there's a switch underneath. That flap is called a molly guard. There could be like a slider to enable the send button, or whether or not to use the keyboard. That's what send on return there means. But yeah, so you like, right, just, all right, here's the dumping ground, right? So there's a whole tag in here now called brainstorm. So there's only 2 posts, right? So the other one is determining when to prompt on leaving conversations because a user on Pidgin 2 thought there was a bug in Pidgin when they used it wrong. I'm not trying to Steve Jobs, you're holding it wrong thing, but they used it wrong, right? The program didn't help, right? To be fair. But what they did, they didn't realize what they were telling the program to do. And that's, you know, for better or worse. We use do not disturb. Oh, I mean, that status could work, but like that doesn't help when you're sending messages, right? Like say you're trying to like message your significant other and I don't know, it's date night or something, right? We'll just go that way, right? And it turns out you accidentally sent the message to your boss. Whoops. Right? That's what that idea is trying to look for. Right? I'm trying to give you an idea of just like, oh yeah, don't do that. Right? Like that's probably not what you intended to do. And like, you know, Pidgin being where it is, we can give you those functionalities, right? Whether or not they're effective, who fucking knows, right? But the possibilities there for us to try to give you some additional help with it. And we don't actually have to use the AI for it at all. Which is the underlying tone of my message because I didn't suggest any AI things. And also, how is AI supposed to know which messages go to where? Oh, you don't typically use these words with this person. Well, in that case, then just put a fucking word list together. Save the planet by not burning fucking, tons of energy by using a list instead of AI. It's not that hard. How's it going, Fallen? Welcome, welcome. How are you? Oh, okay. I'm like, did that wrap on its own, or is that me? Apparently, it wrapped on its own. I don't like that it doesn't show that it was closed there, but whatever. All right. There was another idea we came up with too of adding badges to conversations. So it could be useful for protocols to add badges to a conversation, something like private, invite only, not safe for work, etc. I think what we'd want to do for this though is, well, see, I don't know if this makes more sense as badges or a property, right? If these are the only 3 we can think of, then, well, actually, no, I suppose. Like Twitch subscriber only or emote only would work well for this. Oh, I just realized that's you. Hey, you've got the same initials as me in here. Twitch is emote only and Sub-only modes could be displayed this way too. Right. So, you know, this is just this was before I decided to start marking stuff as brainstorms in discourse. But also this is relatively easy to just do. I'm still not sure where we would. Oh, I guess we could put the badges right after the name. Huh. Yeah. Let's just go do this. Let's just go build it right now. I mean, it's easy peasy. There's nothing to it. Because like, so there's been this idea we've been throwing around forever of creating a bridge protocol plugin that will let you bridge conversations across. So like, you'd have to have the conversations open, right? But so like in my case here, right? Like, we would have my Twitch channel open, or I'd have a conversation for my Twitch channel. I have a conversation for the YouTube stream, and then I would have a bridge protocol plugin that would take those two conversations and interleave them for me, right? And the idea would be, or part of that idea is that each conversation member in there gets the badge for which protocol they're on, whether it's Discord or YouTube. But then we could also put the badges in the channel or on the conversation itself to have the badges to have Twitch and YouTube logos as well, right? So then we know that, oh, hey, this is a, you know, it's a bridged one like that, right? And the idea here is like, we're just trying to get these building block stuff that make cool things possible, right? And then the idea too is like, if I ever end up streaming on Facebook as well, then we could just pull Facebook right in there, right? Some people have asked to have a an XMPP or an IRC channel to talk during the stream, which is just like, dude, you're killing me here, right? But like, say there's a PeerTube instance or something like that, all that can just be pulled in, and we just, you know, ding 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 ding, and we give the user some way to see it, and it's easy peasy. Right? It's not necessarily anything that's like major for the protocol or anything, but it just, you know, it gives you a little bit more stuff to deal or stuff to help you organize, as well as, you know, just keep track of things. And I think that's everything on the pull request point of view. Yeah, okay, that was 6. I went through those quick. All right. We have to get back to the account setting stuff. That we got to do sooner rather than later, because the longer we wait on that, the harder it's going to be to merge. So, Angry Streamer and one of the bots will show what platform their chat is on. Yeah, right. That's the exact same idea, right? But we just want to be able to do that in Pidgin. And like, likewise, you could do that for anything. Right now, the idea is too, right? So when you send a message from that, it would then send the message to each protocol as well, right? So, you know, it works as a fan in and a fan out from you just locally on your machine. But, you know, we got to get Twitch implemented. We got to get a YouTube implementation. There's a whole lot of stuff to do before that's even remotely possible. But yeah, but just enabling, putting the badges properly on the conversation, that's easy peasy. All right. So just in conversation here. Oh, these are messed up. All right, whatever. Purple conversation, get badges. I guess we're gonna put this in the right spot to begin with, which looks like here roughly. Purple conversation, get badges. It's the badges for the conversation. We should probably do some basic badges. And I'll put a ticket in for this, right? But like the not safe for work, invite only, whatever. Those basic ones that are going to be reused everywhere. We should probably just create some basic ones for it. Not safe for work. Invite only. Secure, etc. Yeah, well, I mean, the idea is the protocols can do whatever they want, plugins can do whatever they want, but having some basics like these things make sense because that way then they're consistent, right? So, like, if you had a different icon for every protocol that had end-to-end encryption and you want to put a secure badge on there, that's annoying. Now, that said, like, if you've got something like that has different types of encryption and stuff like that, and maybe there's a less secure encryption and your protocol has a more secure one, then by all means, for the active one, use the default one, but for the lower security one, make your own badge, right? That's like a lower security, right? Like, we're just trying to give you give developers building blocks to make cool stuff, right? Like, we can't possibly think of every single scenario, although we're fucking trying. Or at least I'm trying, whatever. Right, and we already have the badges objects. It's what we use on conversation members to say, like, your channel badges, right? So, like, your Twitch badges here, right? So, like, I've got all this junk by my name, right? So I've got the broadcaster badge, the 100-month subscriber, Jesus, and then a Twitch Turbo badge, right? And I have more badges than that. You can see if you click on it, you'll see I have Prime and then Twitch Recap 2023 and Twitch Recap 2024, right? And that's what the badges are, right? They're just, you know, quick little information to give you an idea. And just the more places we can put them, cool, right? Just more information to go along with everything. Let's put this under avatar. Now we'll leave it here. It's fine. Okay, right. In the init method. This type is provided during construction. The type setter isn't called, which means that this tag doesn't get created. To work around this, we set it here, which will be overrun. Type setter. I think this is wrong, and that's been a problem for something else. But conversation badges equals purple badges new. This is the getter. No, it's a setter. These are kind of out of order, but whatever. Case prop badges. Oh, I didn't even put it in there yet. Purple conversate. Nope. This is the setter. I'm dumb. What? Okay, whatever. These are supposed to be in specific orders and alphabetized just so things are consistent and whatever. But this file is not. G file, G value set object value purple conversation get badges. But I didn't put this up here though because I forgot. Yes, conversations have lots of properties. Go figure. Let's find. Finally should be first. Oh, set ID. Oh, I'm in helpers. I'm not even in the G object. Yep, this is gonna need a good cleanup commit at some point. Lovely. I guess I'll put it here. All right. We're almost done. Account, avatar editable, avatar alias. Badges. New conversation. This doesn't need a whole lot of explanation. G-param readable. G-param. That extreme. Alright, that should do it. How's it going, Finneron? Welcome, welcome. How are you? Yeah, there was, well, so there is an IRC daemon named Unreal. Whether or not that is any way, shape, or form tied to the Unreal game engine, I don't know. They both are from around the same time. I mean, they both have existed at the same time, but I don't know if they're tied together or not. It's possible that those things are both true, and that there was also an Unreal tournament, whatever, IRC network as well, right? All of these are possible. But yeah, Unreal IRCD has been around a long time too, so. No. That's the stupid K-Wallet stuff changed. Did I typo it? Oh, no, I just never actually implemented it. I'm like, what do you mean this doesn't exist? Alright, I was trying to put this at the top of this stuff where it would fit better, but I don't know. God, there's so much API in this thing. I mean, it makes sense. It's a chat client. Damn. Is DM, right? So, from the top, this is where it goes. Purple badges, store, purple conversation, get badges. Return valid fail is conversation, conversation, null. Alright, now we're done. We have to write the, we have to update the unit test for this, but it's fine. We don't have to do any other testing on the badges. We just have to make sure that it's there, it exists, and that we don't leak memory. Right? All the actual badges stuff gets tested in its own unit test. So that's good. Task conversation. There should be a properties. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. Did we include verb yet? We did. Okay. Verb, assert type, badges, purple type, badges. G clear object, badges. Right. Zero bytes lost. Woo! And we run the turtles. Cool. Badges. Add a badges property to purple.conversation. Allow protocols and plugins to add badges. 2 conversations. Cool. You think I might be muted? I am not. Okay. Fair enough. How's it going for Ubuntu? Welcome, welcome. I should make that a channel reward. Channel reward. Pretend to talk. You never got to use Pidgin 2. But like overall? What do you mean you've never used Pidgin 2? You've had 18 years to use Pidgin 2. And I don't know how to answer your question. It's going okay, Ubuntu? That's good to hear. Good to hear. Never heard me stop talking. I don't know how to take that. You're a HexChat or XChat user. All right, so you probably would hate Pidgin 2. Pidgin 2 is definitely more of a one-to-one direct message kind of client. And it doesn't have a status window. So this just that by definition, not having a status window means it's not a real IRC client. I say that in jest, but lots of people that say Pidgin 2 doesn't feel like an IRC client. Their number one reason is it doesn't have a status window. So you know why? You know what Pidgin 3 has? An IRC status window. Grim looks into the chat, can't deal with the silence. Yeah. It happens. It happens. 4231. I don't remember what the number was. Oh, good. See, the thing is, like, these little things, I try to leave them open for other people, and then I'm like, I want something easy to do. So then I just knock them out. And then nobody can do them, because I just knock them out. Because sometimes I just want easy shit to do. You wouldn't say it was terrible. It supported conferences and XMP. Yeah, right. Like, but like the focus is more on IMs, right? Because so much of it came from the AIM background, right? Like, our chat support's good, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's necessarily good enough for a point of somebody that like is a hardcore IRC user. So like even me, by default, the tabs are above a conversation, right? For what your rooms are. Well, I have too many conversations for that. So I have to, by default, move everything to the left. So that I can, actually list all my channels in a window. And other stuff like that, right? Like, it's not that things don't work. It's that, like, by default, it's not set up. Like, you've got to tinker to make it work for you if you're in a lot of chats and stuff like that. So, you like the Copilot bot attached to PR review? Okay. I'll take your word for it. I'm never touching that thing. We just had a lot of issues with clients over the years, so I was looking for somebody that I'm not sure what you're saying, G-Bone. But like some of the other issues we have with our chat stuff too is like discerning different levels of permissions and channels and stuff has always been weird and wonky. This is Pidgin 2 I'm talking about here, right? The whole badges system fixes that, or attempts to fix that, I should say. I can't say unequivocally if it fixed it. I think it does, but I'm not positive. But like one of the other problems is like Pigeon 2 is a lot of like like it doesn't try to keep track of a lot of state. So like it doesn't know whether or not you can set a topic in a channel. It'll just let you try to do it and then air out when you don't have permission to do it. Rather than going, oh hey, I'm not an op, I can't set a topic. Damn, it has been a year. How's it going, SWK? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I had someone pushing issues, please support. What? Have I had someone pushing issues? Please support agents and AI agents and chat client. What are you? What? Like, anytime anybody brings AI up to me, I just shut it down, right? We have no intention of putting any AI, anything in any of our stuff because it is a waste of time. That bubble is going to burst. And good luck to all of you that have, you know, bought in so heavy to it and are leaning on it too heavily. That's all I'm going to say on that. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm a programmer because I enjoy programming. Why would I defer that to an AI? Right? Oh, but it can do the monotonous stuff. Guess what? Sometimes I like to do the monotonous stuff because I get tired of busting my ass all the time. And I like to have these quick little easy wins like this bug or like this ticket I just implemented because that's a quick dopamine hit and it's fun to do, right? Like, I don't want to sit here and always have to slog through everything. Daniel Steinberg been dealing with AI in the curl repo? Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, right? I mean, it's more than just the vibe coder trend, right? Because like I know plenty of senior devs who are like, yeah, it's great for setting up my unit test. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with your unit test that you need to use AI to set them up? I'm like, well, there's a lot of boilerplate. I'm like, have you heard of of the former Lord and Savior named code snippets that like aren't dynamically generated every single time? All right, we'll do it this way. Code snippets, Sublime Text. There's tons of these out here. And like, you write them once, and then like they will fill shit in, right? So your snippet, you put content in here, you can fill it in, and it'll have different stops, and you can fill it in. It'll be a template thing, and it's there. Like for me, I effectively do what a snippet does by doing multi-cursor. It's not as effective, but it works for me, right? So, but yeah, so like the snippet here, right? So like each snippet gets a value or gets a number, a variable gets a number, and then they give it a default, right? So as this is going through the snippet, right? When you paste a snippet, it'll put the cursor at 1, and you'll enter the thing. When you hit enter to go to the next one or tab or whatever, I don't remember what it is because I don't use snippets. It'll also fill in this one because that's already $1, right? When you get to the second name, you enter that, or if you use the default, you get Lopez, and then you go to address. It'll put address in and that's just it, right? So like if you have a unit test, you just like type your test name and blunk, you're done. Or you can have AI waste tons of time and energy and generate a new thing every single time, and then have to review it constantly. I mean, you pick your poison. I don't really care, but it's just stupid. At least Daniel no longer needs to pay out of his own wallet for hosting. Oh, somebody's paying him for hosting now? Or sponsoring his hosting? That's good to hear. I always like, it's a great tool for research and learning, but not to do your job. Okay, like, if it works for you, cool. Everything I've thrown at AI has been utter garbage. Everything. Even fucking Google searches. Like, what is the air speed velocity of unladen swallow? This is my test for Google. So if you type this into Google, it will give you an AI block about it, right? I don't see the AI block because I have blocked the AI overview block from Google using uBlock Origin. And if you want to see how to do that, you just put this little line here in your custom filters, and you don't ever have to see the always wrong Google AI block ever again. It's just gone. I don't have to scroll past it. It's just gone. What if you're an AI arguing against AI? Then I'm self-loathing? I don't know. still gets your research wrong. Yeah, AI has never gotten anything right for me. Small tool for research is always papers and journals, but AI helps to point. I don't know. I've seen Google searches. I recently, it was like 2 weeks ago on stream, maybe 3 now. I was looking for an article and I had 6 words from the title into my Google search. Google could not find it. Why couldn't Google find the article when I gave it 6 words in the title? Because of AI bullshit. It is not helping. It is pulling us backwards. And I'm tired of people disagreeing with me on it and just not accepting reality. It's insane. That's one of the things with certain frameworks is that they'd auto-generate unit tests for you when you use generators, Rails, even when languages like systems. Okay, I don't know anything about Haskell, but yeah, I mean it's weird. So it's real easy, right? So in uBlock origin, go. We'll see if we can get it the same way. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? So search assistant, cool, right? So in uBlock origin, you can go over here and you can click this little eyedropper, and then you can decide. Right, so okay, we've got that's too much, but all right, right there, that looks good. Yep. Well, that's a big filter, but sure, go ahead. If we hit preview, boom, AI is gone. Then we hit create, and now I won't see it on this anymore. In theory, right? There was something I was trying to block using the picker tool, but it was dynamically created. The ID was dynamically created, so you couldn't block it, which is fucking insane. But welcome to the web in 2025. So, Google has its own search issues of its own. Yes, that's true. You guys feel Oracle has the biggest hype company as AI factory? Oracle personally feels never good in database. The only thing is they bought Java from Sun. Well, I mean, they bought all of Sun, right? So they got Java, they got Solaris, they got all that stuff. But, you know, actually, technically, they got a piece of Pidgin, too, when they bought Sun, right? Yep. So this is one of the other things when people are like, well, why don't you relicense? I don't know. You think Oracle's going to give us a time of day to grant a license exception? Probably not. So. So Oracle investing a ton in AMD AI now? Interesting. They don't want to buy from NVIDIA. But yeah, I don't know. So there was something I realized, it was yesterday or earlier this week, I don't remember exactly, but I mentioned it to some friends today of, I don't know when the VR AR bubble popped, but it popped and I didn't even notice. I can't wait for the AI bubble to pop. Right? But like, remember when everything was going to be VR and everybody needed their own headset and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you don't hear fucking any of that anymore because nobody cares. Because it was garbage and people finally realized it. Yeah. All right, well, Oracle using AMD, cool, right? We need more diversity. Oracle can't bear capacity. They are they are hyped hyperscalers as per you. Okay. I mean, I don't really care. I don't give them the time of day, to be honest. Like AI for better autocomplete. It's a bit more context aware, not in my experience, but okay. I mean, again, you know, if it works for you, cool. I don't care, right? You doing your job pretty much has absolutely nothing to do with me, so I don't care. Good friends at Meta did a great job of killing VR as permanently as possible. Yeah. But like, it's just like back. So I'm assuming some of you are old enough to remember how big 3D was going to be when it was in movie theaters everywhere and there's 3D TVs everywhere. Yep. How many of you own a 3D TV? Remember those videos on the dude sitting on the train using the augmented reality stuff from Apple? I don't think I saw those ones. I was already checked out going, this stuff is garbage. It's not going to go anywhere. Like, I thought Google Glass would have been cool. Just from like a messaging point of view and quickly looking things up. Right? But not for like augmenting reality to like tell me that's a fucking street post I'm about to walk into, right? Just look at OCI webpage. Such less appealing UI. What is OCI in this context? The only thing AI will help is improving search engines with. No, AI is destroying search engines. We were just talking about this, right? I said like 3 weeks ago, I was trying to search for an article I read earlier in the day on Google, and I gave it 6 out of the 8 words in the title, and Google could not find it. Because of the LLM nonsense that they've put into everything. And it's just, stop, please. Is forking 3D Chroma cardboard classes? I don't think I saw those. Yeah, like, I have a Virtual Boy in my basement. Cutting edge of VR back in the day. The bibliographic nightmare when the changes just thrust upon existing products that weren't broken? Yeah. Oh, okay, Oracle Cloud. Yeah, well, I mean, Oracle is... You know the Oracle joke? Okay, for anybody that doesn't know the Oracle joke, they employ more lawyers than they do programmers. That's the joke. Because they are that litigious that, like, there's no way they have enough programmers to deal with all the shit they do. But they don't carry context. They're using probability. They don't think. They can't make connections on their own. It's all a freaking number. It's a statistics problem. Is Intel pushing harder? Because it sounds like they're trying to just not die from everything I've heard. I've heard horror stories, people working on Oracle DB. I can see that. All right, well, Hacky Hacks, I'm speaking from my experience and understanding of AIs, which is loosely. Yeah, no, I saw the new Virtual Boy stuff. I'm both excited and disappointed, but I'm also wondering if it means I can sell my Virtual Boy for more. Because it's like, this is an original. Right? You think anybody will pay more for an original? And somebody just posted in Discord. I'll just share it here directly. That's not what I meant to do, but sure. When you buy a company for $7.4 billion to sue another company for $8.8 billion. That's how you make money. Intel's close to the same time NVIDIA and AMD were some decades. Huh? I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Cindy. Wasn't there saying that anything sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic to the ignorant? That's AI for you? Yeah, but like AI is literally just a statistics problem. Oh yeah. That's Larry? Yep. I almost said Larry Wall. Larry Ellison. There we go. I was like, that's not his name. It's Larry something. Maybe it's Leisure Suit Larry. Alright, where are we at here? But like, I don't know. The AI stuff is just... Like, I understand people like the idea of using it as a way to query stuff, but like... I don't want to say prompt engineering because I think that's bullshit. But like, just natural language recognition, that's not the right term, it's something like that. It's something people have been working on for a really long time. And yeah. Probably feel is now as well. Intel has super talented people. It's their management. Yeah, I mean that's a problem at a lot of places. Right. Personally know the field well enough after a damn PhD on it. Yeah, but regular people think it's a sentient thing. Yeah, yeah. It's just oh, it's 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 hallucinating. No, it's wrong. Like it has bugs. It's not hallucinating. It's infested with bugs. Like a house gets infested with bugs. It's not that like it has a biological virus because there's no sentience, there's no thinking. It's just a statistics problem. All the articles about comparing material to get what's the ampersand AL are from like 2012. Yeah, well, I mean that's because get one and whatever. Actually saying we just talk to the computer. Imagine a classroom of people arguing with AI to take notes. Yeah, no shit. Or like, open office concepts. Good luck. Better search engine with less crap in there, yes. We don't need to know the correct keywords to find content with LLMs. That's wrong. Like, they have literally created a job title for that. It's called prompt engineer. It's the same thing. Except it makes you feel like you're talking to a person because you have to give it very explicit terms and conditions. So instead of like, I don't know, multi-chat clients, it's like, please give me the list of the most commonly used and best supported multi-protocol chat clients. And then, it'll give you some shit. Whereas in Google, I can say multi-protocol chat client, or I used to be able to say in Google, multi-protocol chat client, and it would give me the information faster. I didn't have to type as much. Small teams make more impact. I mean, that's all subjective. And describe something I want to find in LVM does a pretty good job at figuring out what I'm looking for. Okay, but search engines have been doing that for 25 years without LLMs. Okay, you did mean et al there. Okay, I've never seen it written that way for Ubuntu. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. I need to ask. If I was an AI, I would have made some weird assumption and then, just completely wrong and everybody would have believed it or called me on it, but whatever. So it feels like a fight between Rust and C++ these days. So here's the thing about the best programming language to use. It's the one that lets you and your team get stuff done. Full stop. Doesn't matter if it's interpreted. Doesn't matter if it's fucking VB script in Office. Does it let you get things done and be more efficient? Cool. That's the best programming language for you right then. Right? It's just such a stupid waste of time people put on all this shit. Best prompts for AI. Why did you remove part X? Yeah. AI random removes part is such an odd thing. Yeah, because you don't understand why it does it, because it doesn't understand why it does it, because it can't understand anything. Just ask Jeeves all over again. I never used Jeeves back in the day, so I don't know. It's the only case you use LLMs for. You don't remember the name. Feature an Emacs list. I can describe it. The LLM will identify what I'm looking for and then reference me to the docs. Okay, cool, right? There's multiple ways to do things, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't use AI. I'm saying I want nothing to do with AI. Even discussing AI is just like, dude, like I really don't want anything to do with this. And by that, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. That's the only thing you found consistently successful. Okay, cool. Half-ass want Archie back. Archie, wasn't that Gopher? I don't know. Falls down whenever a station comes in your team and starts boasting about Rust. Yeah, you tell him to fuck off. Right? Other language developers are mostly like that. Yeah, I mean, the problem is there's too much ego in programming and engineering in general, right? There's just too much ego. Way too much ego. Right? Everybody wants to be the top dog and be the most important person and stuff. And here's the thing. Let me tell you from experience. Being the most important person on a team fucking sucks. it, it just sucks. 100% sucks. Everybody comes to you with with their problems. You have to figure all their shit out while also getting your shit done and all this other shit. It's bullshit. Don't fall into that trap. Figure out how to get your shit done as a team and work cohesively together. If someone's going to come in here and be like, well, you really should do it this way, and they're not going to do any work, fuck them. Get them off the team. Full stop. Do not engage with them. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like the people are coming and like, well, I was going to contribute to Pidgin, but you don't use Git and aren't on GitHub, so I'm not going to contribute. Great, shut up, go the fuck away. Well, you really should. No, go away. You already said you're not going to contribute. Stop wasting my time. That's so absurd. It's more than ego. I mean, it's not even catharsis. It's just fucking obnoxiousness is what so many of the Rust people have. Like they feel that like the quote unquote memory safety of Rust gives them a license to just be utterly shitty people because they're right. It's like some highly religious person that's just trying to dunk on you because they feel empowered to do so. It is absolute nonsense. People boasting about async Rust, fucking great. Who cares? It's a language feature. Don't care. They can quit by PR. I don't want it. Yeah. It's so fucking stupid. The best one too, we got an ad coming up, but one of the best ones too is when people are like, you'd get more contributors if you were on GitHub. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't, bitch. You are speaking out of your ass because you think lots of people means lots of contributors. Sure, statistically maybe, but when you look at the facts, the number of, like, go to GitHub, search for projects by language C with tag GTK and tell me how many stars you find on projects. Stars aren't a great idea, but those are people that have gone out of their way to click a button to say that they like this project. And the answer, the thing is, there's less than like 10,000 stars for the top page of C and GTK projects on GitHub out of everything that's there. So no, there aren't C and GTK contributors on GitHub. Therefore, moving to GitHub isn't going to do anything. Except waste a shit ton of my time. It's funny because you've met Zig developers in the wild, and their opinions seem to be like, I just want to get shit done. Yeah, exactly, right? It's the same deal with Go, right? Like, you don't hear Go people going, oh, you write Rust, you should really write Go. They're too busy getting shit done and doing things they want to do to give a fuck about what you write your code in. There are other type of people in team architects who don't code, rather keep posting design patterns. Yeah, I understand that, but that's not the teams I'm in anyways, right? But if your platform architect, software architect, whatever, is telling you to use a tool that nobody in the team uses or knows, they're an idiot. You rarely get contributions on GitHub? Yeah, exactly. Check the PR and Express.js this month. People just shitty README updates causing more issues than it's worth. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Pidgin repos are on I Am Freedom. I Am Freedom, actually, I don't know if you can hear me, Barbuntu. I'll check again in a minute. But I Am Freedom is a nonprofit that Pidgin is under their legal umbrella of. Language wars are as bad as editor wars. Yep. How's it going, Mr. Love Pickle? How are you? Welcome. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but we'll find out when the ad's over. Actually, there's an ad right now, so I'm going to go pee. I'll be right back. little late on that ad, but it's fine. Yeah, those videos haven't been updated in forever. The problem is I didn't save how I made them. So I have to completely remake them from scratch. Which is a pain I don't want to do. So yeah. But yeah, so everything for Pidgin is under I Am Freedom. I Am Freedom so I Am Freedom is iamfreedom.org. Do we have this in here? Probably not. We should probably add a history. What do we have? No, this is just the main about page. So instantmessagingfreedom.org was created when we changed the project name from Game to Pidgin. What would happen was, because there was no legal umbrella for the project, if there was legal issues, companies would sue the lead developer. So that's how Rob Flynn left, and that's basically what happened to Sean Egan too, and I think it happened to somebody else, but I can't remember who. So when AOL came after Sean for the trademark violation of using GAIM, G-A-I-M, we created Instant Messaging Freedom to become the legal entity, right? So we put everything under I Am Freedom because I Am Freedom is our stuff, right? So John Bailey Jr. used to be a Pidgin developer. Matthew Needham was an ADM developer. There's me. John's also the treasurer here. Ethan, former Pidgin developer. Richard, former Pidgin developer. Peter Lawler, former Pidgin Crazy Patch Writer. Patrick Cloak. I don't know if you ever got Crazy Patch Writer on Pidgin, but he worked on Instant Bird. And he's also worked for Matrix. Right, so the idea is we're trying to get more and more of the open source chat client people together so we can have an entity that can help deal with stuff like legal issues, possibly domains, whatever. We're a nonprofit too, right? So we can take donations for projects, stuff like that. But yeah, so everything nowadays is under the I Am Freedom umbrella. Right, so keep.iamfreedom.org is a custom mercurial code hosting tool that I wrote that hosts all our repositories. Check the pull request for Express and all shit. I'm not surprised. Right? So, like, the thing is, God, how many of these are Hacktoberfest related? I'm sure it's almost all of them. But yeah, so like, we now self-host everything, and the intent is to always self-host everything going forward. We were trying to get to the point where we would offload the hosting and op stuff. I'm currently maintaining all of it, plus lead developing the project and being the driving force behind everything, which is exhausting because I don't get paid to do any of it. But in 1 year, we lost 3 hosts. So at that point, it was just like, oh, let's just do this ourselves in ways that we can actually maintain it and move providers if necessary. So like, as you can tell from the link in the overlay, we were trying to move to Bitbucket for everything. Bitbucket dropped Mercurial support. Instead of moving to Git, I built a Mercurial code hosting tool. There's not much to it. It's really just glue code, right? I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. But like, when people tell me to move to Git, it's like, get fucked. Like, you've done zero research, because you would realize, if you've done any of it, you would realize that I wrote our own hosting tool. And that if someone's willing to write a hosting tool instead of converting a version control system, they're not going to convert their version control system. But that's too much for most idiots to understand. So what do you do? But we were going to use Bintray for our releases, because our releases are still on SourceForge, because there's no better alternative out there aside from just hosting that all ourselves, and I really don't want to do that. And then we had a VPS at Network Redux who decided they were getting out of the hosting business and we're just going to help people manage their Kubernetes. All that happened in 1 calendar year. So I had to reverse engineer and move servers, because the server that was on Network Redux, like our other servers before that, all that stuff predated config management, right? There was no Ansible, there was no Puppet, there was no Chef, there was no Salt, there was no... I can't think of the other ones. Those things didn't exist back then. So I had to figure out everything that was running on the server and then manually build it. No, I haven't seen people getting banned on GitHub for no reason. I don't tend to pay attention to GitHub as I don't like Git. Like, for example, my real work is at keep.iamfreedom.org/grim. Like, that should tell you my GitHub feelings, right? Now, obviously, working in the open source world, I still have to use GitHub from time to time and use Git. Like, as much as I despise using it, I still am forced to use it. They've been going after blockchain, crypto, etc. Oh, okay, to banning that stuff. I mean, with GitHub falling under Microsoft's AI department now, I mean, we'll see where they end up. But whatever. I mean, it's Microsoft. What do you expect? What's this other branch? If connection to function protocol to connection. Yeah, okay, so that's this one. Right, it's just, you know, it's, I don't know. Like, I find it ridiculous that people who love Git and think it is the only version control system know literally nothing about, like, how distributed version control systems work, and that, like, centralizing everything on GitHub is completely counterproductive or intuitive either to the idea of a distributed version control system, right? like when GitHub goes down, you shouldn't be down for the day until they're back up, right? That just shouldn't happen, not with a distributed version control tool. But because everybody centralized it anyways, that's where we are. Yeah, the GitHub CEO is gone. You prefer HTTP SVN, but still have to use Git because yeah, exactly, right. And like, there's this big push around Jujitsu now, which is another custom porcelain on top of Git. They've been doing this for the 20 years that Git's been around. They've been trying to write a better interface for it. And I don't know, like, if you try to build a building on the same plot of land and it keeps falling down and nobody can keep it maintained and keep it up and running, I don't know, maybe the plot of land is fucking garbage and you should throw it out, right? And like, go build somewhere else. But people keep doing it with Git because I don't fucking know. Brace extended, now we're at the extinguish phase? Yep, pretty much. We got to rebuild head. Yeah, I mean, it happens. But like, the thing with Subversion is SVN, SVK. For most people, SVK is what they want. This is not a good page for SVK. Right? The vast majority of people using Git would be fine with SVK. Offline commits, linear history. Like, I can't tell you how many people are like, well, we squash and rebase because we need to maintain bisectability. Right. So you always build on the exact same packages and dependencies on the exact same host with the exact same hardware with the exact same network on everything. Well, no, we don't need to do, yeah, we're right. It'll hit you eventually. You like to Git before Microsoft got into it? Okay. You're using Git for your entire software engineering life. I'm now starting a startup, and it'd be interesting to see what else is out there. If you're starting a startup, use what you know, right? You're going to have enough problems in your way as a startup. Trying to learn new technologies along the way is just going to slow you down. Right? And this isn't a question about which tool is better, because that's all subjective, right? Your goal as a startup is to make it to production, right? To get to a profitable state. Switching tools and doing shit like that as learning experiences is not going to get you to that goal. So use the tools you know, right? Like, I wouldn't create a startup using Windows because I don't know fuck all about Windows anymore, right? Just it wouldn't happen. Right? That'd be a complete waste of time and money. Microsoft is locking down search for public code on GitHub. Yeah, I'm sure they want to pay. They want AI crawlers to pay for it so they can get money out of it. All right, that's my first, thought on it. But yeah, bisectability. Yeah. So bisectability, for people that don't know, is it's a technique that most version control systems have, where you give it a good commit and a bad commit, and then it will do a binary tree search to find when the bad commit was added, right? So like the thing is like, your last release's bug didn't exist, but somewhere between now and your next release, or the release you're working on, that bug happened, right? And you're trying to figure out where the code happened so you can understand what the problem was and what went wrong, right? So you tell it the good one was the last one, bad one is your current. It'll find the commit in the middle. You test there, good or bad. If it's good, you go, or if it's good, you go over here. If it's bad, you go over here. Then it takes that and finds a middle commit and goes, right? Just a simple binary tree search and whatever. But the problem is there's a certain class of developers out there that think, we were talking about the ego problem before, right? They have very big egos, and they don't seem to realize that there's outside factors aside from your code, right? Like if you're building a web app that has like, I don't know, a database layer to it, doesn't matter how bisectable your commits are because they're rebased and everything is a single atomic change, because a lot of people don't really do database migrations that go backwards, right? But even then, there's the whole matter of like, all right, well, you need to get, maybe the database state was part of the problem, right? Maybe some of the data that's in there was the problem, right? And there's all sorts of little things like this that make things completely crazy, right? And like, here's a good example. So we have a bunch of legacy stuff at work, and I was trying to move some of our we're deploying new services that are based on the old software, but on newer Linux and stuff like that. But we know the code won't necessarily work on MySQL 8. I know MySQL 9 or 10 is out. I know, just one thing at a time. So all this stuff was built on MySQL 5.5. Well, the last MySQL 5 release was 5.7. The problem is when I went to 5.7, it turns out that MySQL 5.7 actually enforces not null constraints, whereas MySQL 5.5 does not. Right? So it doesn't matter how bisectable the code is, because the version of the database engine we're using under the hood broke all the code. So you're just like, yeah, like that said, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't try to like worry about making single atomic commits and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is you shouldn't go to this point. You shouldn't get Foxtrot merges. You shouldn't get to the point that you're writing fucking propaganda pieces about merge strategies and worrying about the way that your DAG looks in your version control tool. Just fucking stop. Right? Like, you this is the level I'm talking to about this bullshit, where people are just like, oh, well, you need to worry about this. Like, all right, how about you just make code that fucking works before you worry about this shit? Yeah, way too many kits with just whip as a commit message. That's a whole nother problem too, right? It's just like these assholes are over here like, oh, well, see, this breaks bisecting and dude. Oh no, I had to run an extra check or one extra test on the bisect. Fuck off. Means semantic versioning on MySQL's part? Yeah, for sure, Pete. Makes sense that bisectability is a consistent way of isolating bugs in production, but it like there's Ubuntu. My point is, your code isn't on an island by itself. It depends on everything else under the hood. And even the dependencies you don't realize are there, like your operating system. Another fun story, right? MySQL 5.5 on a recent Linux kernel will shit the bed and eat up all the memory until the killer kills it. Why? Because modern Linux stuff only gives you like 124 file descriptors for it. I'm sorry, 1024 file descriptors for it, and it freaks out. And I don't know what it's doing under the hood. I didn't debug it that far, but I turned up the number of files it could have to like, I don't know, 65,535, and now it stops shitting the bed. Right? It doesn't gobble up memory until it gets killed anymore. Now it works as you'd expect it to. Right? Same exact stuff in a container. Everything's isolated, except the kernel. Put it on a newer kernel, shits the bed. This is the thing people don't understand about their web apps and stuff like that. Is there's all sorts of I don't want to say underdefined, but not well-defined dependencies that you have that people don't think of. And then when they preach this whole bisectability bullshit, they're just forgetting all of that, and it's dumb. You've literally seen expletives in commit messages? Yeah, it happens. Yeah, I haven't used MySQL for anything personally in a long time. I either use SQLite or Postgres. But at work, they've got a ton of shit that's MySQL, right? Now, I'm not going to walk in there and be like, well, MySQL is garbage. You need to move to Postgres. Like, MySQL is garbage, especially if you're using NODB tables. Oh, no, sorry. My ISAM tables. Don't do it. It's a bad time. You're going to lose data. They're going to get corrupted. Right? Been proven. But, it's there. It works. Leave it be, right? Like, again, when you're a more experienced developer, I'll put it that way because I don't want to, like, limit people or whatever. Like, you're going to realize that you need to leave well enough alone because you're going to have too much other shit to do. So if you try to fix every problem, the only thing you're going to do is burn out because you just literally cannot fix every problem. It's just not possible. If you're doing SQL and BigQuery's flavor of it for your data warehousing class, what the hell is BigQuery? I've not seen that before. Okay, BigQuery. Okay. Is BigQuery still a thing? Or is that like some... no, I'm thinking Bigtable. Bigtable. Bigtable was Google's thing way back when. They wrote a white paper about it, and that's how we got Hadoop. Right, that was a whole MapReduce thing and all that stuff. That's another thing. You all apparently weren't around for the big data bubble. What a joke that thing was, too. Seems like problems can be folded, like, do this thing over there to solve that thing later. Sometimes winter stasis. BQ is Google's data warehouse platform. Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all. Yeah, Gbound, something like that. That's where we got Mesos from. As well. Right, so everybody could run Hadoop. Remember trying to get Hadoop stuff working? So it's on Google Cloud before that went kaput? Yeah. When the company I was working for when Docker first got big, in 2014, we had a Mesos cluster, which is what you ran Hadoop on. And we were running a different front end on it called Marathon. And this is pre-Kubernetes. This is before Kubernetes existed. So yeah, Hadoop scheduler, MPI scheduler, Mesos master, blah, blah, blah. Yep. So we had, oh yeah, Zookeeper's in there too. Yeah, so we had all this stuff running our container workloads. And I got to be the DevOps guy for my team. Make the containers work, build all of them and all that shit. It was interesting. I think I had Hadoop hooked into an Elk stack somewhere. Yeah, so we started with... We didn't have Elk right away. What's the other one? What's the one that does stats, Telegraph and stuff? Influx. We had Influx DB set up and stuff like that for getting metrics and stuff, and we just kept stampeding it. and we had to change a whole bunch of stuff of the way we were doing things and stuff. But we did have a separate elk stack too and everything. And yeah, those days. Those were the days. Speaking of, this weekend I am going to start setting up a Proxmox cluster because I'm tired of trying to figure out ways to get stable, dynamically provisioned volumes into my Kubernetes cluster. And while Swills and I may have been putting together a design doc and plan and stuff for building a new what is it called for, or whatever, it's CSI, container storage interface, to use ZFS with ZFSN to move volumes around. I realize I don't have time to build that, let alone support it and make sure it works for stuff that I actually care about it working, right? So instead, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to start migrating stuff to Proxmox, because what else do you do, right? That's just the way it goes. Because, yeah. The one thing I remember about Hadoop was Internet Mesos. I don't know what Internet Mesos is, but sure. All right. On a side note, you're heavily considering data engineering as a career because you're loving your data warehousing class. Interesting. What does data warehousing actually mean? Because it seems like a very buzzwordy title. I don't mean that negatively or anything. That's what comes to mind when I hear that. We can kill this one. That doesn't work. Save members. It's the late 90s or 2000s coin. Okay. Oh, scheduler use backend is way old too. Okay. Oh, general prefs too. What did I actually put in there? This is probably not going to rebase cleanly. Yes, I have a revision alias for that typo. That's why that worked, if anybody is curious. I typo default fairly often that way, so I just made an alias for that revision. Basically, we're building a data mart using a dimensional model. We create using 2 data sets. We're using... Is this just database administration and database design stuff? This is what I don't understand. Okay, thank you, G-Bone. Like, I don't know what this even literally means. Computing a data warehouse, also known as an enterprise data warehouse, is a system used for reporting and data analysis and is a core component of business intelligence. This is why I don't know anything about this, because I stay out of the BI systems, the business intelligence systems. But this is typically part of an ERP system, I'm guessing, right? The enterprise resource planning systems. Another thing I try like hell to stay out of. Data warehouses are central repositories of data integrated from disparate sources. They store current and historical data organized in a way that's optimized for data analysis, generation of reports, and developing insights across the integrated data. Okay, makes sense. They intend to be used by analysts and managers to help make organizational decisions. All right, cool, makes sense. Fancy metrics. That's what I will call it. Fancy metrics. Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, right? Like I just like you give a, not that it's you in particular, right? Like I hear a name I don't recognize. I don't know what it means. Look, okay, that's how I'm going to relate it, right? It's like Matrix on or not Matrix, not Matrix, metrics on steroids. Cool. Like I use metrics all the time when I'm trying to troubleshoot issues, right? Like, oh well, the average load average or the load average for this thing is typically around here, but right now it's at 4 times as much, right? It gives you a way to figure out where to go. But for me, that's metrics. It's not business decisions of going, well, when we send, or when our parts are delayed by 1 day, it messes with our output and blah blah blah. We're not going to be able to hit the third quarter numbers, right? That's fine, right? That's all the business intelligence shit. The shit I don't care anything about. But that's some people's jam, and that's fine. I'm not going to yuck your yum. Just gonna respectfully say it's not for me. Yeah, I mean, if like, there's a bunch of stuff I'd like to have done with some of this stuff too, right? Like, I mean, like, look, even the dashboards above me, right? Those are data from different sources put together into one spot. I mean, it's not a lot of different sources, but it's a few things, right? Same idea, right? There's validity to it. I'm not saying it's not it, but just like I would not want to do that full time. It's just like, no, I'm good. Did I not turn on the generals? Oh no, I put it under identity. Okay, why did I name it identity and then general? Hmm. I need to close that. Oh, did I check this one? Yeah. Ah, sorry. Huh. Sorry, I'm just looking at something here real quick. So I've had to keep a more than I've had to keep a watchful eye on people adding themselves to our servers and stuff, or whatever, to our identity provider, and there's been a number of people signing up recently, and 2 of them anonymized themselves right away. Oh, that's interesting too. Okay. How are you going to use 3 different IP addresses when connecting to our shit? I fixed stuff so I can watch IP addresses now. Yeah, this one that also anonymized himself uses 2 different IP addresses. Fun. Fun. So yeah. Alright, anyways. Why did I change this to say appearance? Or identity? Like, it's all named general everywhere, and then I put the title to identity for some reason. So the idea of this is for, there's an issue over here for general prefs. General preferences, I guess. Somebody actually asked for this? Oh, this, yeah, okay, whatever. Um, And the ability to enable, disable, launch at startup from preferences. Oh, I never responded. All right, well, whatever. Not gonna respond right now. Appearance? No, that's not it. Huh. What happened to the hell? What happened to this thing? Oh, it might be under Alpha 1. Oh, do. Nope. Maybe it was under Experimental 5, or we just lost it. Let's just search for general. What are these sorted by? Yeah, that's... There was a ticket for this. Alright, let's look for, avatar preference. Aha! Pidgin 2, you said, yeah, okay. And this isn't Experimental 5. Alright. I'm probably not going to get this done tonight. This has been sitting for a long time, but at least to get this started. Alright, so let's rename this from general to... What do we have in it? We got profile, display name, avatar. What would you all call this? What does Discord call this? That's the wrong thing. There we go. They say my account. Profiles. What is Slack called? How do I set my display name? Slack has a preference section for Salesforce directly. Jesus. Yeah, where do I actually set my display name in Slack? Under profile. All right, so I think part of the problem here is, no, this is profile. Okay. Huh. Huh. Oh. All right. Well, let's go through, rename these files and everything. Profile prefs. No, identity. My bad. Everybody got so quiet. What happened? We're having lively debates. And everybody disappeared. Like, it's fine. I can talk and work. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I'll just get quiet sometimes if I need to, but it's fine. Alright, let's do the test. Rust is a garbage language. Wow, no responses. Guess it's true then. Nobody debated me. So I was not wrong on the internet. Resources, prefs, general, rename, entity. Rust rewrite when? I had some response to that. I don't remember what it was. I think it was if somebody pays me $3 billion or something like that. We're gonna learn how to do login authentication and authorization between semesters. Okay. Just be able to build things out of accounts. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. There's many ways to do it wrong. But generally speaking, depending on what tech you're using and stuff, you'll be able to find like an OAuth client library or something like that somewhere. But like, there's an entire series of RFCs about the simple and secure layer. No, simple and security layer. What the fuck does SASL stand for me again? SASL. Simple authentication and security layer. There's an entire set of RFCs for this. Now, this is a tool that applications can use to add authentication to their stuff. You may be interested. Did I ever make a command for this? I don't know. No, of course not. We wrote our own SASL implementation because the ones that are out there fucking suck. We still have more stuff to do here, but yeah. Oh, that's right. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to work on the stupid Pango formatter. Forgot about that. I think AWS and Google have systems that handle a lot. Yeah, I mean, they're using OAuth. Right, so you'll start an OAuth flow with them. Typically OAuth 2.0. And then they'll do a bunch of stuff to validate you, and then they'll give you a token that has permissions to do certain things for them. Right? There's all sorts of different OAuth libraries for all sorts of stuff. You'll typically store an auth token and a refresh token. The refresh token is how you get a new auth token. There's tons of stuff there. Yeah, so what you'll want to do most likely is use a library. You should not roll your own. Just like authentication, like cryptography, you should not roll your own, right? Because even though you can't break it, that doesn't mean somebody else can't, right? This is why we have stuff like standards for encryption algorithms and stuff like that. The thing is, as far as we know, nobody has been able to break them, which is very different than I can't break them, right? But so SASL has a bunch of different implementations, a bunch of different mechanisms, and one of them including OAuth. You'll probably just want to do OAuth. OAuth is pretty much becoming the standard for a lot of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Holy Roman Empire. Same deal, right? Same for me even, right? Like, that's just the way it goes. All right, so we're renaming this to identity. Identity. Oh, it's under prefs. I gotta change everything in the files yet, that's fine. Pidgin, Mason build, general. Huh. I just had an idea that I kind of want to do. So You may or may not be aware, Discord has different allows you to use a different profile on a different on different servers. There's no reason why we couldn't do that as well. I'm not sure how we'd want to go about doing that. We would have to have like profiles, and then you would have your display name, your avatar, maybe a bio, something like that. And then the account would have to be tied to one of those, something like that. I don't know. All right. Go on. Oh, but yeah, so this is another reason why I personally don't use snippets, because I end up multi-cursing stuff all the time anyways. So it's just, one tool to get used to and go from there. Once built a Discord bot that would give you info on when the ISS would be visible from your location, what near-Earth objects were coming up, list of people in space, etc. Oh, yeah, that sounds really cool. The only problem is the obvious kind of doxing, not quite kind of doxing, right? Like I know like a lot of people end up using like airport codes, because even weather stations can get too close. So a lot of that stuff will end up using airport codes and stuff just to make it a little bit easier and less obvious to figure out where you are. But no, it's really cool. The shitty part about that stuff though is doing the GeoIP stuff, or not GeoIP. What's it called? Whatever. Like just actually trying to figure out the geographical location data. That stuff gets hard. Although there's a lot of libraries and helper stuff for that, which is good because it sucks. Really easy to get it wrong. But, that's a lot of things. Do we have the uppercase version? Nope. All right. Do we build? Or did I miss something here? Oh, yep. Good. I didn't even see this one. I used to put an address and it would send that to the US Census API, which would return an XY coordinate that it would then feed to another API to get visibility data. Interesting. Yeah, so like I said, what a lot of people will do is so that they don't dox themselves, is they'll just put in an airport code. And you'll do an airport code lookup and you use that to get the latitude, longitude. And then, so like for me, I would put in MKE, which is the airport code, which is some distance from my house. Which, how much distance and what bearing, right? That's why I use the airport codes. Oh, I didn't fix that part. Yep. All right, and that's just general idea for people. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You already know what you're doing. I'm just trying to help other people digest what you're saying. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. Maybe national parks or state parks, but like, at least in Milwaukee, we have an ass ton of parks. How many parks are there in the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Interactive park and map trail. God, it's taking really long. So, Temporary closure. I just want parks, man. Okay, so like, here's the list of parks. Right? It's a lot of parks. Yeah, yeah, like I understand that. But if you used a park close to your house, then you're not helping yourself much. Right? The thing is, like, you pick the airport code because, you know, there's one airport for not just a metro, generally speaking, aside from like Chicago and New York and LA and shit, right? There's generally one airport for a metropolitan area, right? Um, and you know, you can use that one, which will get you roughly there, right? Rather than like parks drill down further and further, right? So, like, let's say I was over here. I'm not in Franklin, Wisconsin, or in Franklin, but you know, so like, okay, it's not going to tell me what the park is. Whatever, right? So, like, well, these are just the trails. All right, so here's a Root River Parkway, right? Like, if I put Root River Parkway as the closest to my house, right? Okay, well, maybe I'm in one of these houses, right? Or maybe I'm just around the border of it, right? And just, you wouldn't want to get that much detailed with it. It's you know, it's a personal thing too. Everything's subjective. Some people are like, yeah, whatever. But like a lot of streamers on Twitch don't even want you to know what state they're in. Um, right? And that's fine, right? That's totally up to them. That's their privacy. That's what they're going for. Just, you know, that's why you go for something that's more coarse rather than fine, right? So like balance between useful and anonymous. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right? And there's no right way, right? It all depends on the audience. It's all subjective. All right. All right, so we built. But yeah, so what I'm thinking of the profile idea would be, you know, you could have different account, you could have different profiles, and you could activate one on an account, and then it would like try to do your display name and stuff like that. God, I need to figure out these issues. The problem is I don't even know where to start with this issues on my machine. Everything I've tried has made no sense. The current theory is that the SATA controller chip is overheating because like it doesn't die, it just takes really long to do anything. So it's just like, I don't know what else it might be. Although I could try reapplying thermal paste on the processor. It's been a while. The problem is, oh god, the thread rippers are very, very sensitive about how they're placed in the socket. It's a real fucking pain in the ass. And every time I take it out, I think I like broke it or something. Oh yeah, that's a problem. No, that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, yeah, I didn't do the press window. Derp, it compiled, but I didn't do this one. Go on. I'm gonna hit the wrong thing. Come on. The worst part is like this isn't even related to streaming because this shit happens when I'm not streaming too. All right, cool. So the whole well, maybe we can just skip the avatar picking for now. What else do we? Oh no. Yeah, we don't have a way to set avatars either. That global avatar and alias departments. Pidgin 2, you can set your global avatar from the image next to the status selector. That was removed some time ago, but never made its way into preferences and needs to be corrected. Also, it would be handy if we allowed the user to set a global local alias too. Local alias is kind of dumb, but this ticket 667. How old is this? Aside from real old. 18 years old. Yay. Current local aliases can be set on a per account basis. This makes changing one's local alias or defining an alias for the first time on a large number of accounts slightly inconvenient. The proposed enhancement would be to give the user an option to set a global local alias, blah, blah, blah. This is another reason why I think profiles would make sense. I think we're going to punt on this for now. We'll save what we have. That's just kind of been the case with this pull request. Oh, did she move? Do it this way. Identity. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the thing I actually wanted to do today, and I forgot. Oh, I want to switch branch. HGLG. To do both. Weird. All right, whatever. All right, so I started this and I made the tests too complicated. So the idea is in Purple 3, in Purple 2, we required everybody, if you wanted formatting, to convert whatever your incoming formatting was into HTML. And then we would give you back HTML and you would have to convert the HTML into whatever your format was. Because that's complicated and hard, a lot of things didn't do that. They would grab the incoming formatting, but outgoing formatting wasn't really handled well because of that. Aside from that, this also meant that if you stripped formatting from incoming messages, we stripped the data and we threw it away. What we're trying to do with Pidgin 3 is, or not trying, what we are doing with Pidgin 3 is we're using a library called Pango, which already comes to us as a dependency of GTK. It's fine to use in libpurple because it doesn't depend on any user interface specific libraries. It maybe depends on font config, maybe, but that's just for managing font files. It's not really a big deal. But anyways, but even for terminal clients, there's still basic formatting there, so it's okay. But one of the cool things Pango does is Pango has attributes. Attributes have a start offset and a length to them. And then they define changes to the text, right? So like bold text from characters 1 to 3, right? So what we're doing is we're using the Pango attribute format as our intermediary format that everybody will convert into, and that's relatively easy to do, to convert something into that. The problem is to take a Pango attribute list and the string and put it back and put formatting back on it. But one of the cool things about this setup is in Pidgin, we can just tell GTK to ignore the Pango attributes, and all of a sudden, all the formatting's gone, right? So if you can't read a message or something, you can turn off formatting, read the message, and then turn formatting back on and not actually lose any of the data, which is very cool. We also have a ticket to add a custom version of that just strips colors. Right, so it would leave bold, italic, underline, etc., but it would skip all the colors. Right, just it wouldn't apply any of the color attributes at all. So okay, so I named this one simple, but the simple test is not simple. So the simple test has too much. All right, so we're just gonna do bold from character 4 to the end, and we're gonna get rid of this italic. All right, so we just want to get rid of this. Instead of calling this simple, let's call it single. That makes more sense. So anyways, the idea is when you want to convert this format, you can build a Pango formatter, which a Pango formatter has some basic options, some basic things. When we're going to start doing your format, when an attribute started, when you got some text, and when it's finished. There should be an attribute end in here too, and is that the problem? I don't have that implemented here, do I? Maybe. But so that's the idea. I've gone back and forth a number of times too on how to handle this right, and I don't know if this structure is going to make sense, but we'll see. But what's the problem here? 167. I changed the name, not here. Okay, so yeah, so I'm realizing now, which I didn't realize the other day, we don't have the end tag implemented. So it's supposed to have an attribute end. we don't have an implementation for that. And that's going to be a problem. So in our test here, we just do a simple test and we're just converting it to, you know, kind of ad hoc-y HTML. But that's fine, right? That's just not a big deal. All right, so we need to say formatter class attribute end equals testber Pango formatter attribute end. That does not fit, does? Oh, that does fit. Okay. Right, we're just totally fucking missing that part because the problem is I've been working on this on and off for a while. There was the whole concept idea of it, and how are we going to do it, blah, 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 and now we're actually at the part of doing it. What do we... Oh, we need the test formatter for that. All right, what we should probably do for this test, but we're not going to do it right now, but we should have a lookup that tells us, based on an attribute, what tag to use. But for all intents and purposes, does this work? $75. It's because I did not use that. I don't know why this is taking so long. It seems like it's iterating too long. All right, so the question is, did I actually implement this correctly or not? And we might be going maybe that's the problem. We might be going all the way to the end of that, which is a problem. So the idea was I started writing some of this, and then I wrote the unit test for it to start figuring out the next part. Do I have the implementation right? I don't know, right? It looks like I don't call attribute finish. Well, that's a problem. So format internal. From the attributes, it gets an iterator. And it asks for the range. Right, I don't think I'd figured out the end part yet. And like we don't even have an implementation for the end part. Oh, right, and I was debating on whether or not we're going to make these public or not. But, like, I can't get the end tag because I didn't even implement this part yet, right? But anyway, so the idea is we tell you when an attribute starts. You'll do whatever you have to do for that attribute. Then when you're done processing the attributes, we give you the text for it. So you can do whatever you have to do with the text, and then we give you the end attribute. And like, you know, if you've got a different way to do this, by all means, go ahead and do it, right? But this is meant to be, the idea here is like we can do a basic markdown here, or or have a basic implementation that does Markdown, a basic HTML, stuff like that. Why there's not a new line there? That's weird. If class is not equal to null. Okay. Well, it's not actually used yet. It's not called anywhere. So we'll get a warning. Oh, I spelled class wrong. So we spell class with a K because you could, in theory, be compiling this with a C++ compiler, and class with a C is a reserved word. So that's what we got to do. All right. So string index, start index. We get the attribute range. What? Oh, I wrote this so long ago I don't remember shit. All right, so yeah, so if the start index of the attribute is okay, so if the index of the attribute is after the current position in the text, we have text to render. That should be fun. So the real problem here is I don't know how the hell the end index is going to work with any of this yet. I might have to do my own stack to figure it out. I'm not sure how we're going to do that part yet. Oh, and actually a stack isn't even necessarily the right data structure either. It would have to be a list that I'd have to keep iterating. Because of mix match tags and whatever. All right. Yeah, so the iterator, we get an iterator for each thing. Why do we get two of these? Oh, right. Okay. Yep. So the normal text, the plain text, is 0 through 4, right? That was the first time. And then we're just putting this at the text, right? So then we did some attributes. So, how do we get the attribute name? Type is Pango adder type. I think that's just an integer. Pango adder type at equals adder g message adder sent you. Oh, what do you mean unused? Right, so we didn't have an attribute. We had one attribute, which is value 4. But that delay is a problem too. So we say string index equals start index. That got us to 4. Oh, is that why I had both of them in here? I was trying to see when we get a stop. Yeah, this is a stupid problem. So there's no way to like or at least I don't think there is, to get which attributes are on at a specific point, which would make things easier, although probably a little inefficient. It's on 7. Like I know it's around here somewhere. Pango adder list. It's a list of all attributes in the list. Cool. Iterator. Oh wait, it's adder iterator or something. Oh yeah, so we don't necessarily want this, but wow. Adder list. Stop playing lyrics. You're not supposed to be playing songs with lyrics. Let's change copy equal filter. Filters and what we want. This is what we're going to use for the color stuff, though, right? We can take your attribute list, filter it, and pull out the colors, or filter out the colors, and voila. From string, get attributes, get error, insert before new, splice, string, yeah. I guess that's not a horrible idea. It's not great, but it could work. We could build a list of all the position changes, and then as we're iterating through the string, we do it that way. Huh. Right, so we would use the iterator to build a list of like, all right, at position 0, you have nose tags changing. So the problem is the closing tags. That's the real problem. The rest of it's not so bad. Unless I'm just missing something and I'm not coming up with an idea for an algorithm to do it right. All right, so right now we're ignoring the end range apparently. That's the end. Yeah. These are G-ints, really? Yeah, look at that. Fine. Or ints. Why don't we do this? Oh, actually, yeah, we can use this for a test too, real quick. This will answer my question. Alright, so this, let's see what this says real quick. Alright, what? I didn't change the type. I didn't put the end index in here either. It's part of what it was yelling at me, but what is this? Alright, that's not great, but that's a problem. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, so what happens when we complicate the string a little bit? That's not what I want to put. Oh, shit. Alright, now it's back to where it was. And then we're expecting to find this. So 0 to 4 was the normal with no attributes. Then we got bold up until there. Okay. This is clunky. Right, so the... Yeah, we didn't call the close tag yet. That's okay. All right, but yeah, hold on. So this actually makes this easy. All right, so back over here. Okay, yeah. So this is giving us each chunk when there's changes, which this is actually okay. So then at this point, we want to say... Or, this seems... Right, what? Yeah, I don't think we actually need to do this. Oh, I think this algorithm is actually a lot easier than I thought it was. So the problem is, yeah, we would probably have to do a separate pass on. I guess we could track that another way. Or, I mean, we can build that into his. So the problem is, what's going to happen is the text we're going to get, the actual result here, right? We're expecting this, but what we're going to get is going to be foo bar space slash b I Baz. Presumably, that's what's going to be. The I's and the B's might be swapped, but this is, that's not ideal. But we can track that and figure that out later, and actually put that in the implementation, right? Like for the extent of this is fine. But yeah, that's weird and shitty, but that's okay, right? Well, you would have to track whether or not you're pulled or not, or something like that. But okay, so if that's right, what we should be able to do is we will want to go through all of the attributes. Through all the attributes. And call the start method. Start method for all of the attributes. Yeah. It's a little silly, but it's okay. All right, so get adders is that somehow full screen. Caller method takes ownership of the return data is responsible for freeing it. A list of all attributes for the current range to free this call, blah blah blah. That's fine. So we're gonna say attributes equals Pango get adders. Yeah, this is dumb. Yeah, this is fine. This goes away. We don't need to keep track of the string index or any of that bullshit. I'll explain that in a second. All right, so we're gonna say for glist star adder equals attributes adder is not equal to null. Adder equals adder next. Okay. Then we're gonna say bird pango formatter attribute start formatter comma adder data. Yep. Then we need to say, I guess we had that there, that's fine. Oh, it's an S list? Fine. Yeah. Car star text equals null. Text equals G stir and dupe. Plain text. If start index is greater than plain text. No, I need the length of this thing. If there's like a substring, that'd be fucking great. I don't think there is. GUTF-8 substring. Copy the substring out of a UTF-8 encoded string. The substring will contain end position minus start position characters. Since glib 2.72, minus 1 can be passed to end position to indicate to the end of the string. Available since 2.30. I think this is what we want, but we need to look at the Pango attribute. Pango adder. Like, is this a byte offset or what's Pango attribute? Is this a byte offset or a character offset? That's the question. In bytes, this is a byte offset. Okay. So we don't want to use UTF-8. We want to use Sterling. So is this G? I was gonna say int plain text length equals 0. I honestly can't remember what the data type is for Sterling. Let's look at that now. All right, so that'll give us that, right? So then start or no? The start index is I guess if you crash this way, this is your own damn fault. What? I believe this means Gmax int. No, these are uints. Alright, that's fine. Alright, I don't even know how we do the rest of this, but it's okay. If end index equals Gmax uint. Text equals G stir dupe. Plain text plus start length or start index. Otherwise, text equals G stir end dupe. Plain text plus start index, comma, end index minus start index. Yeah. That gives us a text. Sweet. Yeah, we don't need the link. Don't even need to worry about this. Bye. Okay. Then we call the attribute start for all that. Then we're gonna say Pango or verb Pango formatter text formatter comma text g free text. But now the fun part is we need the attributes, but we need them backwards. And the reason we need them backwards is because we want them to go in backwards because that's the appropriate way to do it. Attributes closing, I guess. All right, we can. We'll redo this. Well, attributes is not equal to null. Yes, fine. Right, so we're going to store the attribute in the data. We're going to say format start with the attribute. Then we're going to say gslist prepend. I think that's... Yeah, we do have prepend. Prepend. Opening. Attributes opening, attributes closing. Okay. Attributes closing equals attributes closing attributes. Right, so we're prepending onto this. So we're iterating this list, you know, first in, first out, but we're building another list that will be first in, last out. Right. And then we say attributes opening equals gslist delete link attributes opening right. So this is, as we're iterating the list, we're freeing off each piece of it, because otherwise we'd have to iterate the whole thing again later to free the whole thing, right? So cool. Call the start method for all the attributes. Call the text method for the text. And then walk through the attributes in reverse order to end them. End them. Right. So again, while attributes closing. You're studying CS by yourself and you're stuck in a recursion topic? Okay. I mean, we don't really do homework and help and stuff here. But, like, recursion can suck sometimes. That's for sure. It's delete link, right? I think it is. Yeah. Iter recursion, much prefer doing things iteratively. I like there's pluses and minuses to recursion. Like all things, right? If you have a small number of things to go through, cool. If you have too many, you'll smash the stack and then you'll be screwed, right? Pango attribute. Is it free? I mean, if your assignment is about recursion, you should probably do it with recursion. Right? They're trying to teach you how it works, or at least give you an idea of it. If you're having problems, you know, generally schools and stuff. Well, you said by yourself. I don't know if that means immediately by yourself or like online or what. But there's lots of resources for going over that stuff. Let me go attribute destroy. All right. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Okay. What? Didn't we just look at this? Oh, Pango adder range is. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I didn't fix the other problems. Okay, fine. 103. That's one word. String index undeclared. Yeah, sure. We shouldn't have string index. Where was this? 128. Oh, yeah, that doesn't need to be here anymore. What? Huh. How did we not get to that one? All right, well, let's go here real quick. We'll figure that out in a second. Do this. Verb Pango formatter text 62. Empty string should be fine. It's kind of silly to call it, but it should be fine. Yeah. Okay, so it failed with still the wrong thing, but still, why is this test taking so fucking long? Like, this should not take 2 seconds. Right? But yeah, so this is doing what we anticipated to do, right? Which is, like, this isn't ideal, but that's what it's going to do, apparently. I don't know of a good way to know that difference until doing a second pass on it. But okay, so that gets us through that case. And I guess we'll rename this to simple instead of single. But yeah, like this is just taking way the fuck too long. All right, but why is plain text not working anymore? So are we getting called for this at all? I don't know. Aha. Yeah, get you this. We're working on stuff for Pidgin Instant Messenger. Oh, that's a bug. I thought we covered most of that, but I guess not. The Twitch redemptions. I thought you could only get one. But clearly, that is a mistake. Alright, I'll look at that after stream. Yeah, I mean, no worries, Oak Spirit. Whatever. Pushing around, hitting buttons, it's fine. So plane, we did not get called for our stuff at all, which we don't have a message for it. Right. What do we have here in the message? Oh, it's supposed to be plane. Oh. Okay, hold on. So we had no attributes. Did I just fuck this up? I must have. We call class, we call the formatter, then we call finish. I said flinish. Alright, so here batters is not equal to null. Alright, well let's just do this. Adders equals null. Pango Pango formatter text, formatter plain text. Return. Well, this should make the test pass. I'm not super happy with that, but we'll see. Okay, yep. But again, we're still stupidly slow. Wait, what? Yeah, that's we might be trying to allocate 2 gigs of memory there. Or that should be more than 2 gigs. Whatever. A lot. No, that should be gigs. Yeah, so if it's the end index, we just grab whatever's left in the string. Okay. Weird. That still feels like we're definitely reading out of range. Yeah. Is that out of range perms? Like, we didn't actually allocate a whole lot, but we got whatever the... that's a problem. Do we just want to bail at this point? Like, I don't even understand why we're here. This is dumb. And I'm getting tired. Oh. Alright, I think we're going to punt on this for now and get out of here. It hasn't even been 3 hours, but it is 11:30. Damn, I didn't realize we started that late. Well, that's okay. There's an off chance I might be on tomorrow during the day, but we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go raid Mr. Last Miles, aka Dennis. I can't think of his last name. It's on there somewhere. But yeah, if you don't want to join the raid, you can go ahead and hit cancel above chat. YouTube, I'm gonna give you a link to his Twitch. I don't think he has a YouTube. But yeah, so thank you everybody for coming by tonight. Be sure to follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell for your desired level of notification. In the meantime, you can find links to all my social media right over here. I do post on my Mastodon when I go live, so that is an option if you'd like to use it. And you can also join us on the official and unofficial Pidgin Discord as well, which you can find a link to right over here. So, thank you everybody for coming by tonight, and until next time, adios!
Nothing, just leave it alone. Let's see it break first. Before attempting to fix it, oh no, it's the Greenwich. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Cramwich. Gary of the Cramwich has raided us with a whole stack of geeks. I'm doing late night stuff with Spark, RIS5. I got a new Spark server, well, new to me. And I was thinking tonight, if I can get this machine to boot, I really was thinking over here, not this machine, that's RIS5. That's nightmare. Nightmare is what that is. This machine right here, using this fantastic page right here, done by Matthew Wilson. What are you running for RIS5? I have 2 RIS5 machines. 2. Actually, I got 3, but that doesn't really count. I have 2 RIS5 machines because I am a sick, twisted, disturbed old man that flipped a coin and said, oh, RIS5, the open architecture, ooh, I gotta go get one. I gotta buy one of them, you know. You got the Vision 5 board. I just went with the Sci-5 stuff, you know, the Sci-5 RIS5 stuff. And right here, I've been sort of writing an article for a month and a half, 2 months, whatever. I've been getting through this. It's just sick. It's sad. It's with great sadness that I fell into the RIS5 craze. One may even say I had great enthusiasm for this open architecture type idea. You know, Bereshit, in the beginning, la